Hey everybody, it's Keith, the L1 Automotive Training Channel, and in today's video we have another one where the dealer couldn't fix it. So let's check it out. Alright, so we have a 2004-ish, somewhere in there, Cadillac SRX. That'll be important here, actually. So probably ought to figure out exactly what year this is. I believe a 2004. Let's take a look. Damn sticker, 5 of 04-ish. All right, 5 of 04 Cadillac SRX with a 3.6 liter engine. Now, this car came from an engine rebuilding shop that put a brand new General Motors engine inside this car. They said, hey, it has a cam sensor fault. Can you guys figure it out? We already put a new sensor in it. We said, sure, no problem. We get the car in. Some of this has already happened, but here we are with a resolution. So you need to see this because nobody could fix this. The problem that exists is that General Motors doesn't support scope usage in their dealers. They have an oscilloscope in their dealers. They have the picoscope, but it's only for the NVH kit, so there's no leads with it. So their testing methods would never result in the correct answer for this with the way the current problem is. And that's where this gets pretty interesting, because this is a situation where you must trust the data or you will chase your tail. So we get the car in. This code, P0366, exhaust camshaft position sensor performance bank 1. It's a little misleading because the first situation that happens is that's the exhaust camshaft on bank 1. The problem is actually with the intake camshaft position sensor. So we use oscilloscope, so we're using our AES Wave U-scope. We're on the signal wire of the intake camshaft on bank 1. So let's pause our waveform here. Pause it somewhere where we can see our problem. So here we can see we have a wide tooth, a wide tooth, a wide tooth, a wider tooth, still a wide tooth, then a narrow tooth. So if we change our time base, you'll notice we have this same resulting pattern. 3 wides, a space, a narrow, the bigger space. On a General Motors 3.6, this is what the phaser looks like. And this is an image out of one of my classes where I use this exact engine in a lot of case studies. You can see that the reluctor has 2 wide teeth and 2 narrow teeth. So the pattern should look kind of like this. So there's something wrong with the cam sensor. It needs a cam sensor. That is all that's wrong with this car. Now, I want to show you what we ran into, because this is wild. Hold up, is this getting kind of confusing? Well, if it is, you guys can head over to L1training.com, and I have hundreds of hours of advanced level training. We cover diagnosis, module programming, EEPROM, immobilizer, keys, board repairs, all of the great stuff you guys have questions about at L1training.com. Now, when you have a pattern like that, the problem is that the code sets for the exhaust cam. The reason why is because it's looking at the intake and exhaust, comparing them to, so it's kind of throwing it off. So that's a misleading thing. Definitely got to have a scope to look at that. It would put you on a wild goose chase towards that one, but that's not the problem that would happen with a General Motors technician. The problem is this obviously needs an intake camshaft position sensor. So we checked powers and grounds. We actually pulled the sensor out, looked inside at the reluctor. The reluctor was correct, measured the air gap distance between that and the known good side. Everything's correct inside the engine. This is a replacement engine, so our first thought is, oh no, there's something wrong with the engine. Now, we got a General Motors brand new from the dealer AC Delco sensor and put it in, and I'm going to show you what that pattern looks like. Okay, so we just put in the sensor from the dealership. Brand new AC Delco in an AC Delco box from Mark Miller Chevrolet down the road. I'm going to change this around. Now look at that pattern. We have a narrow, wide space, narrow, wide space, narrow, wide space, over and over and over. Also not correct. Then, if you go look at the DTCs in the car, we have a P0346. Intake camshaft position sensor performance bank 2. Previously it was showing bank 1 exhaust because it's comparing bank to bank and intake to exhaust and looking at correlation through this thing for a loop. So we're like, okay, that was sensor number 2 from the GM dealer that did exactly the same thing. So we said, okay, we're missing something. We have to have misdiagnosed this. We moved that sensor from that hole to that hole because they are the same camshaft position sensor. They're both the intake banks. They're the same part number. The code and the scope pattern moved. Okay, so it is not a problem with the engine. It is not a problem with the PCM. It is not a problem with the harness, even though we knew all that. Because we're reading the signal out of the sensor. We also read it at the PCM, and it was the same. This was the original one. It was bad. So then we bought a CarQuest one and put it in. Had the same problem, a weird pattern, so we sent it back. So that's 3 sensors. 2 brand new from the dealer, 1 from CarQuest. This one is actually not one from the dealer. This is one from Worldpac that was an AC Delco one also. Nothing wrong with any of those part suppliers at all. It's the parts from the manufacturer. This is another AC Delco. This one's from Worldpac. We were hoping it had been sitting on the shelf for a long time. So that's the 3rd AC Delco one. Enter, we got desperate. We purchased 2 from eBay. Those are used parts from eBay. Now, the OEM part number is 125-92250. That's the OEM part number. The ones we ordered that say they fit an 03 to 09 Cadillac SRX with a 3.6 liter came in, and the part number on them, which is hard to read because it's a used part, was like 1259 something. I can't read it, so I'll have to look at it, and I'll put it right here. So we got this part number. Now, we ordered them, and this is what happened. Yep, sure enough, you just watched someone steal the 2 of them out of my mailbox in the middle of a rainstorm. So from the same seller, we ordered 2 more. So that's these 2. These 2 act exactly like that one, because here's what's super, super interesting. The one that's currently in the car, which is the brand new AC Delco one also. Sorry, that one over there that I said is brand new, that's the original one. That's the one that they put in that was AC Delco. So this one right here that's in the car is the 3rd one that came from Worldpac, 3rd AC Delco, all right? Packs where we buy all of our parts because we get OE parts from them all the time. It's fantastic. So we're gonna keep buying them from them. I just gotta be wary of AC Delco parts. All right, so here's what's interesting. That's the pattern, right? Oh, let me get it live again. So it draws the picture. See it changing? I'm clocking the sensor back and forth. If I clock it far enough, it gets really close to that 3 wides and 1 narrow. I just gotta change the time base here and you can see. And it's clocked way off. It's supposed to be like that. There's 1 bolt that goes in the bottom. There's 1 bolt that goes in the bottom. So this brand new part number that's correct AC Delco acts just like the wrong part numbers. Exactly like the wrong part numbers. So okay. Then we ordered 3 more aftermarket, or 3 more from eBay, but these ones were used and they are the correct part number, the 125-92250. Out of the 3, 1 was good. I put it over here so I didn't lose it. It's my 1 good one. I'm going to put it in and show you the pattern here in just a second. And so there's 1 AC Delco in there. There's another AC Delco that was also the original one that came out of the car. That was AC Delco because they bought a factory part at the other shop where it was at. There are 2 aftermarkets. There are also 3 more that are returned to the store because we didn't want to deal with them. And then these two all set open. These are set open codes. They're just no good. So we have 1. So let me throw this in the car and show you what the pattern is supposed to look like and what codes there are. Okay, so we just installed the 1 eBay used one. We're going to start the engine. It is a 2-trip set DTC. So let it run for a second. Every time we would do this, we could start the car, let it run for 3 seconds, shut it off, start it back up, let it run for another 3 seconds, and the check engine light would come on. And got no check engine light. This car does have an airbag light though. Also, you notice it's only got 68,000 miles. So, it's got no codes. Let's take a look out here. Here's our pattern. I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. So 2 wides, 2 narrows. That is exactly what that reflector is supposed to look like. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sensors, something like that. 10 sensors to get this fixed. So I talked to a friend at GM. I said, hey, what is your guys' test procedure for this code? What would you do? Pretty sharp technician, does a lot of GM stuff. He goes, I actually had one of those cars, and I think what you just told me fixes the car because we had to buy it back from a customer. Because it would have got, according to GM, it would have got a cam sensor, another cam sensor off the shelf, a wiring harness, then a PCM, then an engine. None of which would have fixed this car. So what do you do, right? Well, here's the thing. The data doesn't lie. That's my buddy Brandon Steckler. He's got some stickers that say that. We can see this. The pattern happens. 1-channel oscilloscope. What's great about oscilloscopes is we can see the pattern. We can see voltage over time. We can prove it with data. If you were in your shop and you went through 2 OEM ones, a 3rd OEM one, an aftermarket one, and kept getting the same problem, would you believe that it was a bad part? So here's my analysis of that. Considering the bad parts, the wrong junkyard parts that were obvious off of a car that was at some point in time rolling down the road and driving, perform exactly the same as the replacement OEM parts that are new, no good. That's the brand new AC Doco. That was like the 3rd AC Doco one that did exactly the same incorrect pattern. My assumption is much like that Ford Fusion that you guys saw the video on not too long ago, which you can check out. There's a description down below. And in the description, I put a link to the video, the Ford Fusion, where the new parts are consolidated to some other parts that are wrong. So there's 2 part numbers of these sensors that look identical to this for the Cadillac SRX of this era. Then there's a later 3.6 where they're all plastic, the sensor. So my assumption is that all of the AC Doco original ones are being consolidated to be the same as that wrong part number, just like the Ford Fusion I dealt with the pressure transducer. So I think AC Doco consolidated them, and now all of them are wrong for this car. They're probably perfectly fine for the later model engine where that part number is correct. So that's just my analysis. Tell me what you guys think in the comment below. Am I on the right track here, or I got it completely wrong? Like, subscribe, comment, all that cool stuff. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. If you want to see more diag videos, this is less of a diag video and more of look at this crazy crap we had to deal with. Such a saga with the SRX. We'll see you guys next time.